Hi everybody. I'm going to be talking about my M.A.S.H set, and I'm going to be talking about the different brushes, and I got this on Amazon, and actually M.A.S.H, from doing my research, is only available on Amazon. I haven't been able to find their website as they don't have one, so I'm going to try to go over some of the brushes in detail about what each one is, because there's some people on YouTube that just talk in sort of like general, you know what I mean? Like this one girl, she picked up the brushes in general and talked about, how the eye ones or whatever were, the smallest ones are for, more tighter spaces and big ones for more wider spaces, etc. But I'm not going to be talking in a wide range. I'm going to be talking in detail about each one. Or try to talk about each one in general, or, take away some of the myths that people have said on Amazon about these brushes. And the downfalls. So, yes, when you first get it, it's quite normal for some of it to fall out, or you have to cut a few hairs. So that is, quite normal, and it's quite normal for some of them to fall out during washing, or for color to, come out. But I've got the 34 piece. This is the powder brush, the biggest one, and it is, really, really cool. So that is my powder brush. The next one I'm going to talk about is this one. This one is a bit smaller, and as you can see, okay, so what I'm going to be, this one is good for maybe smaller coverage, like if you're doing maybe like a blush, or maybe some kind of powder that you're messing with and you don't want such a wide range that this one provides. This one, a lot of people don't really understand what this is for, but and this is the fan brush. But as I've researched it, this one is actually good for applying the concealer, or not concealer, I'm sorry, applying when you're doing contouring. So you can use this for your contouring makeup, for applying it, and also for sweeping, the extra makeup that falls under your eyes. And there's, I don't know, one or two other things it's used for, but I guess you guys can, look that up because it totally skipped my mind. But those are really the only two that I was pretty interested in. This is obviously your angled brush, and okay, I'm trying to get a good shot. Okay, and then this is the angled brush. is sort of on an angle like that, as you can tell. And this is good for, from my understanding, blending in when you're doing your contouring, or doing some other type of, facial blending after you use the one of the brushes for applying it itself. And then I have two of them on Amazon that people keep talking about are the same. And to be quite honest with you, they're really not. I've did my comparison, and they're really not the same. I'm trying to get them ready. Okay, so the ones I'm talking about are these two. People say, they look the same, they are the same. In all actuality, they're not. There is a size difference, so I'm going to go ahead and sort of attempt to show you what the difference is. Okay. Okay. Do you guys see that? One of them itself, there is a size difference. One has a little bit more bristles than the other one, and one is and one is like, a bit bigger, sort of width-wise. Sometimes I wish I didn't have to hold. I didn't really have to hold. Hold to see. Okay, here's a better shot. You see that? The bottom one has actually has, this one right here has more bristles, and this one has less. So I'm guessing this one is for, they're really closely related, but I guess this one would be for maybe a sort of, this is a low medium, and this is sort of like maybe a low high medium. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so those are that. Okay, my next one, I'm going to be talking about all these other brushes right here. And there's a couple more that people keep saying are the same. And in all reality, they're not. So I'm going to just go over what is what. So this is obviously right here, the one that I'm touching is obviously for your eye, for doing your eyeshadow right here. So okay, okay, I might have been doing it wrong. You guys are gonna have to looking on the side for a second, so didn't mean to do that. But oh, here. Okay. This is your 34 piece. And, my kitty. And this is obviously, God, wire for eyeshadow. Now, the other piece that I have for this, which are the gold ones, obviously I wasn't trying to do the gold ones today, but you can see how this one is actually quite smaller compared to these other ones. The gold ones I think are more for maybe a larger or a wider range of when you're doing eyeshadow. So this, so if I was using maybe, doing maybe smoky eye, I would use the gold ones, you know what I mean? And you also need to watch out for size differences as well. So if you're trying to do a wider smoky eye, you'd use this one. If you're doing maybe a medium coverage, and just because it's a medium size brush, and bristles wise, doesn't mean that you don't have to have skill or know, how to do it in order to use a medium sized brush. Because you can overdo it with a medium sized brush as well. So that's the comparison on those. Some of these are for foundation, for applying, and I'm going to take out two of these. These ones are obviously not the same, although that's what they look like. The one on the right actually has more of a has a curve going up on the right side, and it's taller, and the bottom one is more a rounded shape. You see what I'm saying? Not quite a triangle angled, but not, you know what I'm saying, a little funky or whatever, but and one actually, if you look closely, the one on the right, the one that's taller, actually has more bristles, and you can tell. So obviously you would use the thicker one to apply the makeup, to apply the foundation or whatever you use it for, and then the ones with the less bristles you would use to, I'm sorry, I just mixed that up. The ones with the less bristles you would use to apply the foundation on, and then the thicker ones you would use to blend. Wow, okay, yeah. It's like 3:26 in the morning, so yeah, you've got to excuse me. And this one was in between them. So, I mean, obviously this one would be sort of like your using this for maybe applying, a different, because people tend to apply um, different colored foundations on for, I guess different definition or different depth or, a certain look. So, and sometimes people use these brushes right here, some of these the smaller foundation ones, um, for applying eyeshadow. Um, when you close your eye, right where your eyeball is, in that space right there, they sort of take it and they pat it like this on instead of sort of going like this and doing that. So that's what that's really all about. Um, okay, and what I'm talking about, some of these, like this angled one. This angled one you can use for when you're applying your sort of like your contour foundation. Um, this is angled, so you can really use this like to apply it onto your nose, since it's angled. It'd be easier to do this number. Makes it just smoother, or applying it in smaller areas. Like some people do it right under their nose where that little dip is, between your upper lip and your nose, or where they put contouring foundation there, or sometimes they put it, right where their chin area is. So, I mean, that's really great, for applying in those small, in that general area. Okay. This one, you know, people, you know, I've seen them use this for, dabbing on eyeshadow, or they use this for, like different, uh, or, maybe highlighting they use this for. So, or, like, applying it in, um, sort of maybe like your eyebrow area, or after you do your contouring with your contouring foundation, they tend to apply it right, actually, like right above their contouring sometimes, or and then like sort of use the other brushes, the blend brush, to like sort of blend it in, blend the contouring and the highlighting and everything else like that, all in that area. This is just another, it's a straight edge. And this one, um, along with that one, which is rounder, can actually be used for getting, some people have those sort of like um, where your hair is, where your hairline is. Some people have sort of like ends in their hair. Some women do. So it it's really kind of good for applying, foundation or makeup or hair makeup, or like right in that area to sort of like cover or make sure that it's being covered correctly. Um, or if you wanted, this one could be even used for, if you wanted straighter lines when you're applying any of your foundation or contouring or, you know, something like that. It looks like a paintbrush. Um, these smaller ones. Let's see. Okay. Those two. This one and this one. This one would be to apply, um, you know, if you needed sort of like like an angle with your eye makeup. This right here, like maybe your eyeshadow, or if you're using, like an eyeliner, a colored eyeliner, um, or using that type or something like that, So I would go ahead and sort of use that for that, and um, or you could even use this for getting right into that crease if you needed something maybe a little bit tighter, or even painting where your baby hairs are. You could do that too. And then we've got these. So this is rounded like that. You could, obviously use this for applying eyeshadow, or getting into spots that typically you couldn't. More painty brushes. Those. And obviously this smaller dangled one would be for, getting to even tighter spots. Like, it's just basically the rule of thumb. Obviously, the bigger you get, the wider it, the general rule of thumb, the wider it gets, the wider coverage you're going to get. But the thinner you get, it's going to be for thinner and tighter spots. But we're going through each one specifically. This one, and any of, some of these you can, like some of these you use for your lips as well. So if you were trying to apply maybe do sort of like a two-tone color like some chicks do, you could use, this angled one and this one, or, or even this one for your lips. So, and then I'm going to talk about one of these, like these angled ones. You can use as This is for eyeliner. Obviously, you know what this is for. Eyebrows, doing smoky, applying eyeshadow, etc. Your eyebrows, blah blah blah. But this would be to do your lines on your face. Like, if you needed sort of like, different shapes for eyeliner. These would be, if you needed to. I'm gonna get one of these out. Okay, not it. Okay. I'm gonna talk about the other two that they thought that was the same, which aren't. There's actually, hold on. Hold on. Alright, I'm here. Okay. So, you see that tolerance difference? And, while the brushes might be the same, obviously, one of these would be for applying when you're using it yourself versus